Hello, this is the Peggy Smedley Show coming to you live from CES. And as always, we have a great guest. My next guest is going to be talking about some really interesting piece of technology that's being showcased right here at CES. And it's a single-person, three-wheel electric vehicle, if I'm right. So,
right.
And my guest is Jeff Holland. You are the Chief Communications Officer at Electra Meccanica, if I have it right?
That's right,
All right, so now you have to tell us all about it. It's the Solo, if I have it right?
Yep, the name of the car is the Solo, and it's,
All right.
it's a brand new car. We just introduced it last September. It's made in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it's got a 16.3 kilowatt motor. It's 100 miles of range, just over 100 miles of range actually, but it's all electric. It's not a hybrid, it's not parallel hybrid. It's an actual all-electric vehicle. It should be enough for most daily commuters. Kind of the idea of it, it's a single-seat commuter car. It does have a top speed of around 90 miles an hour, so you can take it on the highway if you need to. In fact, I live in San Diego, so I've driven it back and forth to the airport a couple times. I used it to drive out here.
Get out of here. I want to see. I've seen this. I've seen a picture of this, which is really exciting, but I want to see you on the highway with this.
Yeah.
And people been honking at you going, this is awesome.
Yeah, people ask if it's dangerous because it's a small, commuter car. It's a single-seat commuter car, but it looks, and people say, well, is it dangerous? Is it safe and that kind of thing? And it's like, well, the most dangerous thing is when you're driving down the highway and people are taking out their camera phones and taking pictures of you driving and waving.
They're
and
distracted driving. They're like doing that. They're not supposed to have their phones out doing
exactly,
that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, in fact, in California, it's illegal to do that. But
That's right.
It doesn't seem to bother a whole lot of people that I pass on the freeway with.
Maybe
with the
you
Solo
need to have
car.
a sign in your window. That's
Yeah, please
distracted driving. No
exactly.
pictures.
Yeah, please no pictures. Yeah, but it does draw a lot of attention. It's kind of a unique product. Hopefully, you can show a couple pictures of it, or even video. But it's very unique. I've taken it around the neighborhood, driven around downtown San Diego, and the looks and the thumbs up and the smiles that you get. I mean, the smile factor is like a plus 10 because people just think it's such a cute, interesting, unique little vehicle.
Well, what is the point of this? I mean, is it you trying to get sustainability, the cost savings for? Well, tell us the purpose why you designed this.
Yeah, I mean, our owner, if you ask him, he wants to put every single gas station out of business, in the next 10 years, and that's his vision for this product.
Oil companies are loving you right now,
But it's an all-electric vehicle, so there is an environmental focus to it. But it's really kind of all you need and nothing that you don't. It's a single-seat commuter car, so it's the statistics show from NHTSA the U.S. Commuters travel. 83% of them travel less than 36 miles a day, and they do it as a single occupant. So for the overwhelming majority of people, it's really all that you need. It's got 10 cubic feet of storage in the frunk and the trunk, and the front is where the internal combustion engine typically would be. But that opens up, and you could fit a briefcase in there. You can fit your luggage if you're going to the airport. You guys needed to bring
some pictures. If you couldn't have brought Solo here, I needed some real pictures to show everybody.
That's right.
Oh, look! I don't know if you can actually
zoom in on
see that and zoom in on that, but that is like so awesome to actually be able to see that. That is great.
Yeah, we've got a red one in the booth here. Actually, there's a better picture here down in San Diego.
Oh, there's another one that we can maybe zoom in on.
That's right on the coastline. Right on PCH.
Oh, I love it.
And again, just a fun car. It's kind of the sensation of between driving a go-kart or a snowmobile for people up north. If they've driven a snowmobile, it's got that single track in the back, and it pulls you right along. The aerodynamic, it's got a less drag coefficient than a Chevy Corvette, so it sticks to the ground. People worry about body roll. It's all the weight is in the bottom. It's about 1,000 pounds total, but all the batteries and the motors are in the bottom of the car. So on the top, it's carbon composite. So it just kind of pulls you right down the road, whether you're commuting around town or whether you're on the highway on the I-5 freeway.
Are these available now? When will they be available?
They're available now. We're taking $250 fully refundable pre-orders or pre-deposits on the car. That'll kind of save your spot in line for when we can start deliveries. We just passed a U.S. certification this month, and so that the certification process enables you to get a VIN number. It enables people to get insurance for the car, and then we can start deliveries fairly soon.
What are we talking about in price?
$15,500 US. It's about $19,000. We sell these in Canada too, so it's just over $19,000 Canadian, but it's $15,500 US.
And so looking
that's
at
before,
this,
I'm sorry, that's before incentives and tax credits
and all that
and things
other
like
kind of thing. So looking at that, when do you think people will be able to have them?
We're targeting by the end of this year for first deliveries. We've already delivered a few in and around Vancouver, which is where we're from. So we've got a kind of a demo fleet. In fact, we deliver one to a local coffee place up in Vancouver, and they use it as their delivery vehicle. So, and if they're doing DoorDash or something like that, they need to deliver something to somebody's house. They put the branding and the signage on the side of the car, and it gets a lot of attention. And they put the coffee and the donuts and the whatever, and they deliver it to somebody's business or their house or whatever. And it's really paid off for them.
So charging is a typical charging station that you would have like in your house and typically what you're doing?
Yep, it's got a J1772, which is the universal charger, so you can plug it into a 110 at your home. If you got a 220, it charges even faster, but about 3.5 hours on a 220 charge, and that's if it's totally depleted down to zero, which it probably won't be most often. I mean, I've driven it for about a week. It still has about 80% charge on it. So, but if you need to, you come in at night, you plug it in at home. In California, there's an abundance of charging stations all over the place, whether you're at work or at a charging station at a mall or at a Walmart. They're all over the place now. So, and as the infrastructure improves, it's just going to get better and better for people that need to charge them.
So safety-wise, let's talk about that. What's been the response safety-wise? You know, you see, you know, I watch, like when you see people drive crazy, right? What do people feel about getting in these and saying, do they feel comfortable about them? I mean, people are on motorcycles, they don't wear helmets. In some states you don't have to. What's the feel of this as a single?
Safety-wise, I mean, it's got dual frame rails in the doors, so you've got side protection. You've got kind of a roll cage in the middle of it, so it'll protect the occupant. It passed all of that's why we go through certification. It passed all the NHTSA safety certification as a three-wheeled, they're called an autocycle is a designation, which basically means an enclosed cockpit, and you've got a steering wheel and pedals instead of, you know, like in a motorcycle, like handlebars. So there's a couple other three-wheelers out there, the T-Rex and the Polaris Slingshot, but those are open canopy, and those are more like a motorcycle sensation than a car. This really drives like a car functionally.
So when you say like that, and when it rolls, you know, like, you know, sometimes you want that truck roll concept. So is that what you're saying is some of those things when people ask about when it rolls?
If you do have rollover, I mean, it meets the rollover certification for NHTSA. So, and that's the federal FMVSS, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards.
Okay.
So it complies with all those. That's why we have to go through the rigorous safety protocol that they've established here.
Is any state accepting that? Like you've got in Canada, if somebody wanted to buy it here, is there any state saying you can't have it?
Canada's a little bit different than the U.S., and in the U.S., every state's a little bit different.
Okay.
Most of them are kind of standardized right now. Washington State has a different roof crush rating than some of the other states, so we've engineered all that with all the safety standards in mind for each state and for each province in Canada as well.
So right now, what's the feedback been here when people are looking at CES going, this is, I mean, because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what, you know.
The show just opened. I mean, you get a lot of people coming by and want to take pictures, sit in it, you know, just like a regular car-to-car show kind of a thing. But, you know, people come by, the comments are like, that's amazing, that's cute, that's cool, that's interesting, because it's so different than it's unexpected. So, and when they come by, but again, they're always smiling, calling their friends over, taking pictures of it. It's been overwhelming response here, and then we've had other shows like SEMA, the Vancouver Auto Show, where we've taken it. It's kind of a universal appeal for a lot of people.
But we have this new generation that's very concerned about our world, you know, not, you know, polluting it. So you've come at a perfect time to do that, to say you want to put all the oil companies out of business, but you're producing something that's coming at a time that I think people are thinking about that. We have a generation that says we don't want to, you know, we want things smaller in a lot of ways. We don't want, you know, the car companies might not want to hear this. Sometimes they don't want these big, heavy trucks and things. So sometimes they want something smaller, just like you said. They go a few, you know, 30 miles or less. I mean, that does happen right now. And they don't want to actually have a gas guzzler. They want something. So you are introducing something that they want a greener footprint.
Yeah.
So I think there's truth to that right now.
It's minimalist by design. I mean, it's kind of, again, it's everything that you need. It's nothing that you don't. If you go to work, I mean, nowadays you can do most of your work through your cell phone nowadays. I mean, I don't even have a laptop with me, but you're not going to take along a desktop computer if all you really need to do is type out an email or bang out a document or something like that, or share pictures. You can do all that through your phone. You can do everything that you pretty much need to do as a daily commuter in the U.S. with the Electra Meccanica Solo. You don't need a big Land Rover or a big Ford F-150. I live in the land of Land Rovers down in San Diego right now, and it's, you know, but it's moms taking their kids to soccer practice. It's, you know, going back and forth to the grocery store. If that's all you're doing with your car, you don't need, you know, a 7,000-pound Land Rover to do that sucks down gasoline.
But what about now connectivity in this? You know, everybody has got to be connected 24/7. So how do you compare in that kind of thing? You know, being able to in this, because even going 30 miles, people have to have their phone with them. They got to be connected. It's a part of their extension of their arm.
I mean, it's got all the things that you'd expect. It's got Bluetooth. It's got, you know, you can use Wi-Fi in your phone. If you need to be connected, you can obviously do that and charge your phone. It's basically a big battery. So if you need to charge anything like your electronics or your laptop, you can certainly do that. We're working with a couple companies that are actually here at CES on things like induction charging, autonomous driving. So that's coming. That's not in this one right now. I think at least for the initial run, you know, our owner really loves the driving experience and to be kind of hands-on with it, but those types of things are coming. You see here at CES, and we're going to be a part of that.
Autonomous driving. You think you're going to make this even autonomous?
Wouldn't that be
What
cool?
will people be doing? I mean, I want
Probably
to
on their
know
phones
what
like
will
we're
they be
talking
doing.
about.
If this is
Watching a
autonomous
movie.
driving, oh my goodness. I mean,
Yeah.
what? You just be sitting in your car saying, just take me to work.
I've got
you
a
know?
friend, he's got a Tesla Model S, and he kind of lives, he's got two houses, one in Seattle and one down in San Diego, and he drives back and forth, not regularly, but once every couple months he'll drive his Tesla all the way up to Seattle. Now he has to stop and charge every so often, but when he does, he says he just, kicks on their little autonomous driving, I don't know what their system is called, but he just plugs in and watches a movie and, relaxes
Model
the whole
S,
time.
he's happy. He's happy with that.
Yeah.
So looking at this, any colors that you can get it? I mean, everything typical?
Yeah, the typical color palette. If you go online at smallev.com, you can look at the color palette. You can put a pre-order down. Again, it's $250, fully refundable. If you don't like it or something changes by the time you get delivery, you can certainly pull out of that. But it's the color palette is black, white, red, and gray right now.
Black, white. And
typical colors.
what's your biggest hurdle right now?
Well, I think the biggest hurdle is going to be just like Tesla goes through with the direct-to-consumer deliveries. We're setting up a dealer network right now in certain cities around the country. So once we that's the next big hurdle for us to get through. We've got the car out, we've got production units, we've got the demo fleets, pre-production, we've got the order bank. Now it's just a matter of getting these out in the hands of consumers so they can drive them around and get the same kind of looks that I get when I'm driving mine around in San Diego.
I can't imagine. So how often are you driving it right now?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day for everything I need. I mean, I've gone to the grocery store with it. I've gone to the airport a couple times. I've driven it up to Orange County, which is about 60 some miles away from where I live, and it's worked like a top. So
I'm telling you. Any apps thinking about you're going to have with it?
I don't know about apps with
to unlock the door.
Yeah, you can
those
probably
kind
do
of
all that
things.
stuff. Right now it's key entry and unlock and lock the doors, but it's fairly straightforward right now.
I'll tell you, that's amazing. What's your URL again so our listeners can
So the easiest one is smallev, SMALLEV.com, and that gets you right to the Electra Meccanica website.
Well, I wish you guys best
very
of
much for
luck.
your
I
time.
think it's exciting. So there you
appreciate
have it. You guys want to learn more, get up to that website, and who knows, maybe you'll be driving a Solo very soon. So thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Now, we're out of time for this segment, but stick around. We've got more to come as always. This is the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and relevant technology. Stick around, and remember, with great technology comes great responsibility. We'll be right back.